Today, a return to the Olympic city of Beijing, but on the site of the grandiose Summer Games, a new season where ice is at the heart of the matter. Grand Prix final in the People's Republic of China, figure skating's post-Olympic revolution. Today, the stars and stripes glitter like gold in the ice dance. Maple Leaf Magic can also cast a spell. Leading lights, the Japanese juggernaut. But Canada's Patrick Chan has a chance to be the main man in China. The magnificent Bird's Nest, one of the most iconic structures in all of sport, the centerpiece venue for the 2008 Summer Olympic Games in Beijing, the People's Republic of China. Championship figure skating on CBC, presented by Artistry, Skincare and Cosmetics. Hi, everybody. Happy Boxing Day and welcome to CBC Sports Weekend's special coverage of the 2010 ISU Grand Prix figure skating final from Beijing. I'm Scott Russell on the Olympic green. Well, the Bird's Nest, as you know, hosted athletics, the Water Cube, aquatics just down the way, the National Indoor Stadium, which had gymnastics and fencing. And right behind me is the Ling Long Pagoda, our broadcast position for CBC in the summer of 2008. You know, the Beijing Olympic Games set the bar very high for succeeding Summer Olympics. And so London 2012 will have a lot to live up to. The same story is true of the skaters at the ISU Grand Prix figure skating final. They set the tone for the upcoming World Championships in Tokyo, Japan in March of 2011. These are the top 6 competitors in each of figure skating's 4 disciplines. Today we have 2 shows. This afternoon will feature the men's competition as well as the ice dance. And then at midnight 30 local on the full CBC television network, we'll have the pairs competition as well as the ladies. 7 Canadian skaters have qualified for the ISU Grand Prix figure skating final, led by Patrick Chan, the 2-time World Championship silver medalist in the men's competition. In the pairs, it's Kirsten Moore-Towers and Dylan Moskovich. In the ice dance, 2 Canadian teens, Vanessa Crone and Paul Poirier, as well as Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Pogier. Canada always well represented in the ice dance. Let's turn our attention to Patrick Chan. As I said, twice the World Championship silver medalist. It's his first trip to Beijing, the People's Republic of China, but he has practiced very well at the National Capital Stadium. He looks comfortable. He's landed the quad consistently, and I've seen him in the gym every morning, and physically he looks very well prepared. He does admit that psychologically he has to learn to become a better competitor. Still, Patrick Chan at this ISU Grand Prix figure skating final is full of confidence.
Of course, my goal is to win and at least make the podium, because I haven't made it at all. And this is a preview to the World Championships in March, so I think it's a good competition to get a feel of the skaters. This is exactly going to be the last group. All 6 of us are going to be in the last group at Worlds, so it's a good practice. I really want to get familiar with the skaters.
You have to remember that Patrick Chan is still only 19 years of age. He doesn't turn 20 until the last day of 2010. He's been to the Grand Prix final twice before, Torino and Seoul, South Korea. He was 5th both times. This time, he's focused on the podium. Now, let's go back to Canada, to the folks who will call this Grand Prix final. The Olympic medalist Tracy Wilson, the 4-time world champion Kurt Browning, and of course, Brenda Irving.
Well, Scott, you know, it's such a beautiful winter day. Kurt, Tracy, and I decided to head out of the studios and down to the shores of Lake Ontario. It's a beautiful day here to this ice rink, the Natrel Ice Rink at Harbourfront. And Kurt and Tracy, Patrick Chan at the Grand Prix final, certainly going to have his work cut out for him. It's a stacked field for sure. Daisuke Takahashi, one of the men he's going to have to watch out for, reigning world champion, won both of his Grand Prix events this season.
Well, this is a guy that is just so much fun to watch. He gets this huge buffer in terms of the marks just because of his presentation value. A little like my partner, Kurt Browning. You don't mind if he doesn't jump at all. You just want to watch him skate and perform to the music. Though the judges do want to watch him jump, and he has had trouble with the quad. In fact, His quad toe has eluded him. He may be trying a quad flip here, and he's going to need it if Patrick lays down his quad.
Well, there are 3 Japanese men here, and one of the other ones, Nobunari Oda, who's really looked refreshed this season.
Yeah.
Well, I think Nobunari has made some great decisions this season. He's moved back to Barrie, Ontario. He's back with his coach, Lee Barkel.
That's a great
and I
call.
think that we're seeing a lot of energy from him that we haven't seen in a while. He has provided himself the opportunity to win both of his Grand Prix this year and didn't capitalize on both. So the skating is there, the background setup was there for him, and now he needs to learn how to take that last step up on the podium. You don't want to leave too many chances in this tough field, like you mentioned. When you have a chance to win, you need to take it. And he's learning how to come second, and that's not good.
Certainly an exciting field at the Grand Prix final, and it may well be a preview of what we're going to see a little bit later next year in March at the World Championships in Tokyo. But when we return on CBC...
Beijing, China's capital city, is the final stop of the Grand Prix Tour this season, and our coverage will begin at the National Indoor Stadium with the men's competition. The top 6 men on the tour go head-to-head with a shot at one of skating's most prestigious prizes. Well, in this group, we have the reigning world champion, Olympic and world medalists, and really it's the who's who of the figure skating world. 2 of the men in this field won both of their Grand Prix events this season, Daisuke Takahashi and Takahiko Kozuka. The 3rd Japanese man in Beijing is Nobunari Oda. Joining him, the former European champion Tomas Verner, French champion Florent Amodio, and of course the 3-time Canadian champion Patrick Chan. And Curtin Tracy, the last time a Canadian man won the Grand Prix final was back in 2004 when Emmanuel Sandou did it. And here is Patrick Chan's short program from earlier.
Skating to take 5, and if Patrick is to win the Grand Prix final, it's key he stays on his feet. He's fallen a total of 8 times in 2 previous competitions. Here comes the quad.
I'm still in shock. 8 times he has fallen.
In 2 competitions. Great start with that quad, though.
This triple axel. Like Tracy said, we need to stay upright. It was not a planned combination there. You don't have to worry as much about that sort of thing with Patrick. He's a smart skater. He will add it later.
So you may ask, how did he get to the Grand Prix final when he fell so many times? It's all of the things he does well. His powerful skating, he blows out the rink boards with his speed, bold, edgy curves to his footwork. He just keeps adding up the marks. Watch him fly here on this footwork, all on 1 foot to start.
Skaters could even initiate a twizzle after that much 1-foot skating. But also Patrick doesn't do very many pops. He does rotate his jumps, including the quad. When he does take a fall, he still gets 70-75% of the mark, so that's really why he's still there.
Well, as we've said before, you can't win a competition with the great short program, but you can sure lose it with a weak first skate. But this was a strong one by the 3-time Canadian champion, Patrick Chan. Nobunari Oda, though, with the lead 1 point ahead of Patrick. A reigning world champion, Daisuke Takahashi, 4 points back of first. His Japanese teammate, Takahiko Kozuka, 8 points back. And there you see European champ Tomas Verner, 5th, and Florent Amodio of France back in 6th place. And now let's move to the free skates. And here is last year's French champion, Florent Amodio, making his first senior Grand Prix final appearance. And this certainly has been, Kurt and Tracy, a breakthrough season for him. At the senior level, he had not had any international success until he won medals in both of his Grand Prix appearances this fall.
And his success this season has come with a coaching change, new choreography by Nikolai Morozov. It's very flashy and also a lot of strategy in the spacing of his program. Consistency got him here. He needs this triple axel. He missed that jump in the short program, and that's what has him in 6th place after the short program.
The eye of the tiger in that one. The triple axel completely over-rotated. The left shoulder gone out of the picture and was still able to pull in for the combination. So important that these athletes remember where they are in their jump count. Doubling a triple there. And with this music change, you will see where he gets recognized. His moving to the music, his ability to perform.
Jumping list here, just ticking off the triple jumps. The strategy and the pacing of his program, and that's a favorite thing for Nikolai Morozov to do. Just go through those jumps, bang, 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 while you still have the energy, and then just get into the performance of the program.
Well, when you design a program like that, it becomes almost more like a practice session, and you're moving from jump to jump to jump. The choreography dissipates completely for a little bit. And as much as I enjoy Florent, I really do, gosh, he stood in one place for so very long. And he's got to remember it's not just the audience. The judges are looking for certain aspects They want to see both sides of those edges used. They want to see the ice covered the way you said Patrick blows out the rink. That's not what we're seeing here. Fun though. I could not do that. A lot of fun.
Well, the reigning French champion, Florent Amodio, making his first senior Grand Prix appearance. There is his coach, Nikolai Morozov, who seems much more pleased with his free skate than he did with his short program earlier. We'll have the scores for the reigning of the National Indoor Stadium and the scores for Frenchman Florent Amodio. His season best score for the free was around 153 points. And as you see there, Kurt and Tracy, about 13 points off the pace. He was 6th after the short program, and that certainly will not help him move up the standings here in Beijing.
Well, as Kurt said, with the breaks in the program, compared to the top group that was really highlighted here and reflected in the marks.
Well, some people wondered whether we had seen the last of Tomas Verner. There is his new coach, Bob Emerson. Tomas had a terrible Olympic Games, finished 19th, but the 24-year-old felt he wasn't quite through yet. He found his new coach, Bob Emerson, who, by the way, works out of Richmond Hill, Ontario. And Canada seems to agree with Tomas. It's been a tremendous season so far for him.
And he got off to a very late start, so a surprising season for Tomas. He said he himself is very surprised to have made it to the Grand Prix final. His strategy this season has been to play it safe. He has not been doing the quad in competition. He says it's not quite ready, but he does have a nice one. We've seen it in the past. I don't know if he's going to throw it in here. We'll have to wait and see. What we will see now, back-to-back, Michael Jackson.
The Battle of the Carmens, the Battle of the Jacksons. Well, with this, Michael Jackson will have is a lot more speed and power across the ice. Tomas has been training very, very hard for. He's going to do a quad. He would probably do it right here. It looks like a setup for one. Nope.
And you can see he definitely has the room to do it in terms of the height of that jump. Well, if you don't have the quad, the axle is key. Triple axle coming up here. Triple axle, double toe.
Very fantastic technique on that triple loop.
Much more of a free-flowing, languid style than we saw from Florent Amodio. Said the big difference in Canada, training in North America, as skaters do run-throughs beginning to end every day, makes them more consistent.
Shocking.
Triple axle coming here.
That was clean. You could hear the microphones pick up that takeoff. It was just crisp and right over top the toe. Boy, when you set yourself up like that, you get success. But there's a calm about Tomas that I've not seen ever. He's relaxed, his upper body is relaxed, he's conserving energy everywhere he goes.
Well, the European skaters, Tomas said, have typically done sections of their program, and then they only do 1 or 2 full run-throughs before the competition happens. And I think when you're used to training the program day in and day out, the confidence just comes in the ease, as we're seeing here from Tomas.
With him at the rink one day where he was working on that section of the footwork, and the TV just doesn't show his power. He goes from the blue line to the goal line in just a few seconds. What I am looking forward to seeing is this program liven up a bit as it gets closer to the World Figure Skating Championships. Great job, super control in his jumps. I'm very proud of him, but I want to see it boost.
I agree. It needs a little more snap, a little more crispness to really drive the theme home.
Well, he was 5th after the short, but 18 points back of 3rd place. And still to skate, this man. He was undefeated on the Grand Prix circuit this season, Takahiko Kozuka.
The scores for Tomas
Well, here are the
Verner.
scores for Tomas Verner of the Czech Republic. His best finish at this event was a 4th place result. And there we see his score, 148 points, a little bit shy of his season best.
Well, he's definitely on track this season, but he is going to need the quad, Brenda, in order to compete with to be a contender with the best. Without the quad, he's not a contender. He's an also-ran, and I really hope he gets it in there for the World Championships, and I expect to see it there.
Here is Takahiko Kozuka with his coach Nobu Sato.
Is Takahiko Kozuka.
And Takahiko was one of only 2 men to win both of their Grand Prix events this season. Despite all this success, Takahiko is still considered the number 3 man in Japan behind Daisuke Takahashi and Nobunari Oda.
Traditional little rub on the back of the competitor, and off he goes.
4th place after the short, 5 points behind his teammate Daisuke. Had a brilliant free skate at his last Grand Prix competition. That was in France, where he recorded the 2nd highest score of all time.
He did not try his quad in the short program, but he does have one planned here to open the free skate. Skating to Piano Concerto number 1.
And already using the music. And, you know, absolutely stepping right into the program choreographically and physically. Here comes the quad. You can tell by the setup. Oh, what a fight. That's a good thing he sharpened his skates before that competition. Holy. He skates with so much respect for the ice, almost like the ice surface itself needs to not have a mark on it when he's done. He lands his jumps gently. He flows across the ice. much like his coach's daughter, Yuka Sato.
Former world champion from Japan. Gorgeous, understated elegance. Yeah, wonderful, Kurt, the way in which his edges play with the music.
Well put.
Triple combination at the end of the program. He's really having to fight for his landings. They're not coming as easily for him as they did at the Grand Prix of France.
Quality, the blade control, 1 foot stopping.
I think, Kurt, sometimes that's part of his problem because he makes the difficult look so easy and effortless. You think it is easy, but as you said, it just isn't. Hidden difficulties, intricacy throughout this performance. This is the guy with the highest free skate score this season in competition. Struggled a little bit in this. It won't be quite as high as we saw earlier, but still a fine performance by Takahiko Kozuka.
Well, he might not be the third-ranked Japanese man here today. He's going to give Takahashi and Oda certainly a run for their money.
So is that kid in the background. He's pretty good. That little tiny guy, flower guy. But what he's got is he makes it fun to watch it for every skater.
While we wait for the scores, let's go backstage to Scott.
Here's the Cup of Russia champion, Tomas Verner. I know last season was not the one you liked, and yet this one may have gotten away from you, but have you got some momentum back, Thomas?
Well, it's always good to talk to you because it means I'm in good pattern back, so this is a good sign, because if I skate bad, usually I just pass CBC. Well, I think I made a good change. I made a good decision to move to Canada, change my practice completely, and I didn't expect to be in Grand Prix final at all this year because it was like really a huge change for me, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to perform again, and looking forward to have more practice in Canada and get better shape towards the Europeans and Worlds.
And Thomas is right. When you're backstage and the skater goes through and no one wants to interview them, you know they had a bad performance. But Thomas, certainly a friend of CBC's, he's done a lot of work with us, came to our studio one day to visit us.
A lot of fun. Yeah, when you walk through that gauntlet of interviews and nobody wants to talk to you, it's kind of the walk of shame backstage.
Uh-oh. Well, that is well off. His season best score of around 160 points will put him for the moment in first place.
And those are still decent scores, not his very best, but now we have to see
how the rest of the field skates.
3 men left to skate. Here's the third to last, Daisuke Takahashi, certainly a skater that has entertained us this season. The 24-year-old skated with such confidence and ease in both of his Grand Prix victories this season, but that ease and confidence wasn't quite there like it usually is in his short program the other day. He sits in third place heading into this free skate.
What he brings to the mix is a real great mixture of a great guy in the dressing room, super easy to rehearse with, nice fella, but he's a rock star. I mean, this kid knows it, and he steps on the ice, he takes control of the stage.
He's the quintessential showman. Audience always first and foremost in his mind. He has been struggling with his quad toe in practice, so has opted to try the quad flip instead. Here it comes. Oh, not quite around Kurt. And that's a jump that has never been landed cleanly in competition by anyone.
Well, no. That's pretty exciting even to see it. It's a beautiful jump. It takes up into the air. Fantastic. What he doesn't do is commit to the very last second of it. Oh, the way he does in that beautiful triple axel. So crisp and clean on his checkout. Just bringing the music to life, isn't he? Accompanying actors, no set to work with, no story plot, and yet he still gets it across. Great actor on ice.
Oh, and that was a hard fall, Kurt. Those awkward ones.
Yeah.
Tough to recover.
I felt that one in my seat.
Yeah, but right back into the music, right back into the dance.
Right back into the jumps, too. Triple Lutz. Beautiful steps, changing directions both ways into triple Salchow. Boy, these skaters are trained. People ask us, skaters, when we take a really hard fall in competition, how do we get up and keep going? I'll tell everybody, the first few seconds afterwards are often the easiest because you're just reacting on impulse and energy and adrenaline. And about 60 seconds later, you really feel it. Coincidentally, the second fall came about that much later.
And he is looking winded at this point, Kurt. Every ounce of energy has been given to the program.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because when we were talking about Thomas, great control. I love what Tomas Verner is doing with his skating. What he isn't doing is what this guy does. And every bit of energy goes into every ounce of program. It's really worthwhile for us, really taxing for him.
Well, he's the reigning world champion and unable, maybe because of that fall, to capture all the magic that he displayed earlier this season.
It'll be too bad the quad flip, will be badly downgraded to a double two-footed triple. I love the risk, though. I love this guy.
Third after the short program. Will has his scores in a moment, and the skate of this man, the three-time Canadian champion, Patrick Chan. Back at the National Indoor Stadium, and Daisuke Takahashi waiting for his scores.
Well, not only a nasty fall, but a number of problems with rotations on the jumps. And look at these scores, Kurt. That's really going to hurt him, especially the way they downgraded the quad.
Well, that's 20 points off his season best scores, puts him right now in second place behind his teammate Takahiko Kozuka.
Very humble fella, though, acknowledging the crowd. It's a good competitor.
Well, Patrick Chan will skate second to last. He trailed Japan's Nobunari Oda, the leader after the short program, by just 1 point. There is his coach, Christy Krall. And Patrick will skate to the same music from last year, Phantom of the Opera, and he said, Kurt Tracy, that he never really felt he did Laurie Nichols' choreography justice last season. And even this year, we haven't seen the program live up to its potential.
But I think it's a great strategy, because key for Patrick is the quad this season. So he's got an old friend in the program, and then the new friend, he hopes, in the quad.
As long as I keep thinking, when you bring a quad into your household, something else sometimes has to go, and I think it's the axle. This season hasn't been what it could be, but the choreography, I disagree with him. I think he does the choreography proud every time he steps on the ice. Loves the music, loves the speed, and his new toy, I call it the quad toe.
Whoa, sweet.
Wow. Take that.
And now, on to his nemesis, the triple axel.
Oh, you could see it right away. Right away. Unbelievably. No extra torque with the right arm. Straight up and in and true. Oh, someone's on. He's creating a spell out there on the ice. Let's see if he can keep it going with this triple axel.
triple turn to a double there.
He says he wants to be a better competitor, but when he can do that sort of thing, changing the program on the fly to make up for a missed triple earlier in the program, triple loop late in the program, congratulations, Patrick. You're really coming into your own. And he's got a lot of great skating to come into because he's so talented.
From beginning to end, and the intensity of this performance by Patrick, absolutely incredible.
Well, he could be in for a career milestone after that skate. One would think so. He's never stood on the podium at the Grand Prix final before.
Well, to start with the quad as he did at the beginning, a gorgeous triple axel. And then, as Kurt said, to be able to throw the triple-triple at the end. There's a look at his quad.
No extra effort on the axle takeoff. Very, very clean. Sure, he would have loved to have thrown a T on triple after it, but he didn't need to. I'll tell you what's happening now. Patrick's still a young man. He's a very young competitor, but every year he just layers on another layer of confidence and maturity, and boy, are they compounding together nice.
Now, he needs a score of more than 152 points to move into first ahead of Takahiko Kozuka.
And that's easy for Patrick. He's already hit 166 this year, and that was with a handful of falls.
Oh my goodness, over 174 points. Not only a season best for him, but a season best for anyone on the Grand Prix Tour this season.
Yeah, now he's just showing off.
Only two Canadians have ever won the Grand Prix final before. Elvis Stojko in '97, Emmanuel Sandou in 2004. He is guaranteed now the silver medal, but it could be gold depending how this man skates. Our last skater in the men's competition there is Lee Barkel, his coach. Nobunari Oda, the leader after the short program. Kurt and Tracy's seen this movie before, didn't like the ending. Twice this year, he's had the lead after the short program, both times finishing, though, with the silver medal. He does not want to make a habit of that.
Well, he didn't give away at least one of those medals because of bad skating. It was bad decision-making and bad mental play. Really losing his swing thought, they call it in golf. And he's got to stay focused to quit wasting his talent. Because there is a lot of talent.
And it particularly has such a natural spring with his jumps, and he can easily throw triple-triple combinations, and that's where he gets into trouble. He does too many and gets penalized. That's how he let a gold slip away this year. Here comes his quad to open. Oh.
Just short on the revolutions. I think he was already mentally getting ready for the second one. If it was just one alone, he would have landed that.
The quad triple combination in his short program was spectacular. That is why he's in first. Just
just a 1-point lead on Patrick Chan after the short.
Light as a feather on the landing. So he gets the technical difficulty for his jumps and also huge quality marks for the soft landings. Look at the spring, another triple combination.
So he's immediately replaced the planned triple after the quad toe that he didn't get in. Just added it into something later. It's another level of skating that certainly in my generation we never dreamed could exist.
Where he loses some marks to his competitor is his body line. You can see slightly hunched with the shoulders.
He sure gains it back on those back outside edges on those landings. Diminutive stature really calls for something a little bit lighter, I think. I'm liking this program than some of his other choices in the past few years.
Yes, choreography by Canadian men's champion Sebastian Britton. I think they're a wonderful team, work really well together.
Good stuff.
Oh, just gets back on his blade on a simple double axel. And then that takes him out of his footwork there. This is to be a footwork sequence. So now he's letting a second element, and again, mental focus. It's like, uh-oh, now I'm done. And
well, if you're going to trip on the way to work, don't fall in front of a bus. And that's what just happened.
No, but Ariota twice has stood on the podium at this event, but has yet to win, and doubtful that will be enough to take the title today.
well, he had a chance after the quad, and you know, he's practiced falling on a quad and keeping going. It was the double axel, Kurt, totally unexpected, that took him out of his game at the end of the program.
Really we know what that's why we compete. If we knew what we were going to do, we could just all phone it in. But that's why we compete. That was shocking. This had all the potential. It just got sloppy at the end. I'm convinced he was ready to do the triple, and it got him.
Now watch how he uses his knees on on the landing there and on the takeoff into this axle. This is the double axle, and he goes down and again just gets sloppy back on the blade like he had done on the quad. And then it's like, uh-oh, that's it. And he let the rest of the performance get away from him. So will it be interesting to see how many get in front of him. If it's just Patrick.
He needed a score of 173 to move into first, but his season best was 155. You see there, the season best for him, but not enough to take the title, but it is enough to give him the silver medal here at the Grand Prix final. So that means that Takahiko Kozuka of Japan will finish in third place, and Patrick Chan comes up with a brilliant free skate to win his first ever Grand Prix final title. Nobunari Oda finishes with the silver medal for the third time this season and is joined by Takahiko Kozuka on the podium. Now let's go backstage where we'll find Scott Russell. Scott?
Skate Canada champion, Canadian champion, now Grand Prix final champion, Patrick Chan. It's a major international title. What's it mean at this point in your career to do this?
I think it's a beginning of a great career. I think coming up ahead and great season. I think it's a good start to learn from this experience and learn and take whatever I learned here, that worked here, bring it to Worlds, and hopefully do the same.
Listen, there appears to be so much there and a little bit more yet to get. Is that a fair assessment, Patrick?
Very fair. I mean, this is only, I've only kind of shaved off the top of the iceberg, and I'm still going to keep digging at it and improving my second axles and my triple axles, period. And then making sure I don't cheat my quad again and really, really go out strong at Worlds.
Is it important to be able to get that quad in both the short program and the long program and put two together, so to speak?
I think it's very important from the judges' perspective. I think it shows how fit you are as an athlete, how ready you are. Because to put them both in your short and long, you have to be pretty consistent in practice, so you can be comfortable with putting it in the competition. And it's a big jump. So you gotta really be sure.